I've had some stalker situations. I had a
Yeah.
situation where a guy seemed to know exactly when I got into the city, exactly that I honked the horn every single time that I backed up.
Early morning, rise up high, trash trucks rolling by.
Welcome back to a new episode of Talk Dirty to Me. I'm Sean.
Today we got a special guest for the first time on our show. Welcome, Jessica, please.
Jessica. So, what did you do before you got into the trash game?
Well, before I got into the trash game, for a little over 20 years, I worked in human services. I had 2 associate's degrees, and basically I worked in different fields of the human services. I don't know if you want me to go into further detail, but I started out when I was like 18, 19 years old. I tried CNA work, working with geriatrics. Didn't really enjoy that much, and so then I worked in with people with traumatic brain injuries. I did enjoy that, but the pay wasn't the greatest and a lot of travel. So then I worked with people with developmental disabilities. I did that for quite a while, and I got a job with the state. I was working with the state for about 3 years, and then decided I wanted to go to college. And so I got my 2 associates. During that time, I joined the military and was in the Army Reserves. After that, while I was in the military, because I was reservist in the civilian side, was working with like children in residential placement. Did that for
That's
quite a
really good.
while. Yeah, I did that for quite a while. Then I worked in the foster care as like a caseworker aide, and then went back to working with people with developmental disabilities. Just kind of burned out and hit that glass ceiling because I didn't want to go back for my bachelor's. I was much older. My kids were older. At that point, it was no point in taking on more school debt. So decided I wanted to get my Class A, got my Class A. Couldn't find anything like that was actually kind of local because my kids, they were teenagers, so they still needed me around. So started working at a trash company, which is more like Class B. So there it is.
Right. So you went from working with people to like just working with trash.
Yep. Which is way better.
Which one would you say that you enjoy better, working alongside the human care, or do you prefer just picking up the people's trash?
I actually prefer picking up the trash. I think it's more the driving piece. It's obviously not, playing in garbage, but I do. I prefer driving. I prefer, being on my own. Because the field I worked in, I dealt with a lot of behaviors. There was a lot of physical, like, restraints, and my body was getting old. And like I said, I kind of had this glass ceiling because to move forward, I'd need a bachelor's. So I really burned out on that. Just, and that human services is going to a very softer, like, way of handling things instead of, giving them real consequences. It was more about appeasing them, which they weren't really learning. So it was just constant, like, a struggle. And I didn't believe in the philosophy anymore. So honestly, driving's way more fun, less
Oh yeah,
stressful.
definitely.
It's less stressful, believe it or
And you
not.
see more. Right.
Now, at the place you work at, you actually are a recycling waste picker instead of a actual garbage one. Now, have you done both sides of that before? Do you
Yes,
prefer
I
one over
have.
the other,
Yeah,
or?
so I actually started where I'm at delivering the cans, the dumpster cans, and I started
Mhm.
with that, which sometimes you're dealing with garbage or you're dealing with recycling or just an empty can. Sometimes you're removing as well as delivering. So, and then I went to the front load, and when I started at front load, I was doing a trash route, which was more in the country, dealt with a lot of farms, some businesses, and some like just people that want a dumpster instead of the residential toters. So I dealt with a lot of
Yep.
that. but I was out for a while due to an injury from an accident. So then when I came back, the recycling was open. Now I'm in like the city. I do some country on like a day or two, but it's mostly in the city. So
Right. What did you like better? Did you like doing trash, or do you prefer recycling? Because I know recycling can pack a little bit harder than trash, and it takes a little bit longer at stops. What do you prefer more?
to be honest, I don't know if I have a preference. Like I actually there's pros and cons to both. Um, I definitely preferred the more rural route than the city. That's 100% sure. But
Right.
like the recycling, it tends to stick to the back of the blade, gets stuck there, and then you can't pack it. It won't fall off the blade. And that's really, really annoying, especially like trying to drive down the road. You're trying to pack, it's not falling off. And then all of a sudden it's going through the top door. You got to close the top door. Remember that it's closed so you don't drop the next can on top of the truck instead of in the actual hopper. So that's just a little more, you have to pay a little more attention with that because you do have to close that top door more often. But the perk of doing
Right.
recycling is I don't have to go in the landfill anymore. So I just go to like it's called MERC. I forget what it exactly stands for, but it's a recycling center. And I dump there. I don't have to walk the trash. I don't have to do anything like that. I still have to get behind the blade and clean, but it's not as dirty, not as bad. So, like I said, there's pros and cons to
Right.
both.
Yeah. And so you're in front load, right?
Yep,
Like that's what you do, commercial front load. All right.
yep.
And the city. What do you find hard in the city? What do you find hard about doing city work?
Mostly it's the traffic. It's just people tend to believe that they have right of way over a truck, whether they're in a parking lot or whether they're on the street itself. Whether they're in a vehicle or whether they're walking, it doesn't make a difference. They always believe they have the right of way and they don't, and they'll see you backing up or they'll see you go to try to make a turn and they don't care. So they're just going to try to cut you off and do what they're doing. They don't even, most of the time they won't even look at you as the driver and say, hey, like there's usually a way that you communicate with a driver where you're like, hey, can I go, can I not? Obviously you're not verbalizing it, but you make like motions or facial expressions and then you can let them know. But most of the time they don't even do that. They don't even try to make eye contact with the driver. They might not even see the driver
Yeah.
and they try to go anyway, and that's where it can become more dangerous, like a safety issue. So that's the hardest thing about working in the city, for sure.
Right. Right. What's one of your scariest moments? Your most scariest moments that you've had?
The scariest one? I should actually say it
Yeah.
was my accident, but it's not. My most scariest moment was actually when I was driving the can truck. I was doing I was doing a can swap. One of the cans had gotten bad, so I had to swap it out with a new one. And the comments had said the cans were at the front of their driveway. Well, this was down a fire lane, and my GPS says that their driveway's way down. And I was very new in the business, so it's not like I absolutely knew, like, you don't go down a fire lane like that. Because some of them you do anyway, but so I was like, okay, it says it's at the end of their driveway while I'm still on the road. So I went back. And as I'm going back, it's just the start of spring. So there's a little bit of ice, there's a lot of mud. And as I'm going down, I'm realizing like this is getting too narrow. This is becoming not safe. It's very downhill. So I went to put it in reverse
Right.
and the back end just started sliding and both sides was a drop. Easily 100 foot to 150 foot drop on both sides. And the truck
Wow.
ain't backing up.
Oh
So
man.
at this point, the only place I can go is forward. And forward, of course, it's still dangerous because it's just a downgrade and it's mud and it's ice because they're in the woods. So some of those spots have not like defrosted yet. So I'm taking it
Right.
extremely slow. And I found this little area where there's some trees and the drop off is a little wider out. So I decided I'm going to try to K-turn this truck. It was literally go forward a few inches, turn, back up a few inches. And I had to do that to get that truck like back turned around. I would barely call it a K turn. I would call it a 20 point to 30 point turn. It was that many times I had to
Wow.
like go forward, back up to turn it around. And like I said, back then we didn't have the cameras on the truck. We didn't have tablets. And honestly, if I had fallen off that cliff, they wouldn't have known there was no GPS on that. If my phone would have broke, if I would have died, they would have at the end of the day been like, "Where's Jessica? I haven't seen or heard from her." And mm, yeah, so
Right.
it could have been very, very bad. That was definitely my most scariest
Could have
moment.
went
That
bad
was the
pretty quick.
moment. So that was the moment where my dad used to
Yeah.
drive truck. My dad passed away. That was that moment I looked up at the sky and was like, "All right, Dad, you gotta be with me." So yeah.
It definitely sounds scary. Like that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was petrifying. Again, I was a very
Now,
brand new drive too. Go ahead, Alex.
now, have you seen any kind of difference in how you're treated being a woman in the industry versus the men you see around you? Do you feel there's any kind of disconnect there or any kind of difference that you're feeling?
Um, for the most part, I
So
would say yes, more on a positive side of that. Like people tend to be a little nicer to me.
That's good.
I kind of get away with a little more, but there definitely is sometimes that like I dealt with a person that was in charge of like the mechanic shop that was very anything I wrote down like something wrong on the truck, he would question it, tell his mechanics ignore it, or he just was very like no matter what, Jessica doesn't know what she's talking about, she's like this dumb girl. And that was always the vibe I got. And
That's unfortunate.
I was treated very badly until he left, and now the mechanics are all cool with me again, and they're all like working on my truck and fixing the things that I'm telling them like this is what's going on, and I'm respected again. Like there is that, and then like out on the road, most of the time I get like the smiles, the thumbs up, or wow, that's really badass, you're a girl working in this field. Sometimes I get like the side eye from like some of the guys that are like customers or whatever, and they kind of are more the
Yep.
ones that are kind of assholes to me. So, but it's a more of a rarity. Like
right.
I get more of the wow, that's impressive.
Right.
That's good. That's good.
Do you get any like weird customers that like follow you around or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah, I've had some stalker situations. I had a
Yeah.
situation where a guy seemed to know exactly when I got into the city, exactly that I honked the horn every single time that I backed up at every stop, knew where I worked and how long it took me. Like that was very weird. And the coworker I was with, because we were like hanging out having lunch at the time, he was like very dismissive to my coworker, didn't want him to talk at all. And it was a very weird situation that made me feel very uncomfortable. And the whole time we were in that restaurant, like that guy seemed to be getting angry anytime he saw me laughing with my coworker. Um, so that was weird. And
Wow.
the worst
Wow.
situation I had was I was actually on my at one of my country stops. I was at a gas station, went in to use the bathroom, and I had a guy come into the bathroom and actually peek into the stall on me. That creeped me out. I
Wow.
That's
had a panic
crazy.
attack. Yeah, I kind of had a panic attack on that one. It definitely freaked me right out. So yeah, it can be dangerous. My supervisor I talked with, and now I carry something with me for protection. It's not a gun. I do have something with me at all times, just in case.
That's good. That's
That's
good.
that's crazy that you just need to do that though. That's like really crazy. Like
It is, but we live
we're
in
just
a
here to
world
work.
where girls are not always safe. But I
Nope.
guess that's
Nope.
also true though,
Now
whether what
that
job you
kind of
do.
sucks though. Being go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying like, so whether I was over the road or whether I was local, that's just one of the things that as a female, I always have to be aware of. Like there's going to be creepy people out there that are not going to have the most greatest intentions for me. So I like that's just part of I think being a female in general. It doesn't matter what job, doesn't matter if you're
Hmm.
going to the store, you still always have to be aware there's going to be some guy that might be out there with bad intentions that can overpower you. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. No matter what job you do.
Yeah, no matter
Now
what.
getting to a more lighter side of things. I mean,
Right?
that's one thing with being a guy. I don't got to worry about where I got to go to the bathroom at all the time. You know what I mean? Like I do a lot of country routes, so I have the opportunity of getting off to the shoulder and doing what I got to do for a quick second. Where unfortunately, like you got to go find a restroom at some
No, I
place
don't.
to use every
No,
time you
Alex,
got to
don't get it
use the bathroom.
twisted. Alex, don't get it twisted. I am not that girly girl. I actually will pull over and I have gone under the truck. I have gone into the woods. I don't give a shit. If I have
Whoa!
to go, I have to go.
You
When I
open
did
that
the
can of
can truck,
worms.
I peed behind
I'm just
fucking
saying
roll
because
off. When I did the can truck, I used to be in the yard and I'd go behind the roll offs. I did not care.
all right. Well, I mean, there are right. Well, I mean, like there are some girls that won't even consider that an option. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
at least you're more, willing to do what you gotta do.
There
Yeah.
goes the diaper question I had.
No, listen, come on. We all know that if we're sick, we all gotta wear diapers and get our rounds done. I mean, that's just
Right.
part of the
Right.
job.
Yeah. No. I mean, there's definitely there's girls. There's like one other girl that works with me. She would never do that kind of stuff. I know she would never do that.
Right.
And then there's always like the really girly girls that would never even go into like the outhouses, like the porta-johns that you see. Like some businesses have them,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of farms have them. I have no problem using them. They ain't always the
Oh yeah.
greatest,
Right.
but it's still better than going outside. So, I would use that. And sometimes, to be honest, ever since that guy like came into the place and like peeked on me, I would still rather use a porta john than go into a place of business. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just because I don't want somebody
Right.
looking
You
at
got
me
to
again.
find some of them.
I
Right. You got
do
to
have
find
a
some of them
lot.
bathrooms that only have a one door lock type situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I personally don't like using porta johns. I remember being on route one morning. It was like 6:30 in the morning, and I got some rumblies going. And I'm like, well, I know on this fire lane in about like 10 minutes there's a porta john next to the lake. So I cruise on down there. Park the truck, get out. Go in there. It's dark. It's 6:30 in the morning. It still hasn't got much light out. And I'm sitting down there, getting everything ready to go. And all of a sudden, I'm looking down in front of me. There's a freaking spider just comes down, bloop, right between my legs, and I'm like, what the
Yeah.
I freaking jumped out of that shit and I got the hell out of there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't gotta poop no more.
scared to poop right back in you.
Well, that actually happened.
That's funny.
Something similar happened to me
Yeah.
at a porta john a few weeks ago, like a month ago. I went to grab the toilet paper to wipe, and freaking a spider came right down, touched my hand, and I'm deathly afraid of spiders,
Oh
so that
man.
freaked me
Oh
right out. I'm
man.
like,
Oh,
Right. That's crazy.
yeah,
yeah, I'm not a big fan of spiders. I mean, when I was 8 years old, my dad's like, oh, "You want to watch R-rated films? Oh, here's Arachnophobia. That's your first movie you can watch, and never again have I looked at the spider
nice.
the same way."
Right. I'm
Yeah,
kind of happy. I get to do city work, so
Oh yeah, you're a city boy.
yeah. There's bathrooms everywhere, so kind of
there
get lucky
is,
with
but
that.
going in and
I
out
mean,
of places of
especially in the
business
dumpsters.
take longer. You know that? Going in
It
and out of
definitely does. It
businesses
definitely
take
kills you
longer.
out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
I'm
and not
not
to
gonna
mention,
lie,
like time you go to the bathroom in one of them,
in the dumpsters,
you go ahead.
yeah, I've definitely
Oh
gone
no.
to pee in a
No,
dumpster
no,
before.
we don't want to reveal all the secrets now.
We don't want all your secrets out there.
I mean,
You know what it
knowing
is?
Sean's lucky, he'd be trying to do that in a dumpster, and a freaking hobo comes out at him. Hey,
Oh,
this is my
I
house.
know. No, there's always
Hold on,
hobos in
didn't
my
you jump
dumpsters.
a guy into your truck before?
I've done it once. I've picked somebody up window length, and
Yeah,
they jumped up out of the can, and I was like,
yeah,
you know, that was a scary moment of mine.
yeah. That would
But
definitely
Oh,
freak me out. I mean,
yeah,
I've had cats a few times like jump out of the dumpsters as I'm dumping, or as I get it right up at the top, they'll jump onto the top of the truck and then jump down. I'm like, holy butt.
yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't imagine it
raccoons. I
being
My
get a lot
favorite
of
ones are the raccoons.
yeah.
raccoons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh, there was this
skunks.
one time when
Ugh,
I was on
oh.
the trash route, there was this one time there was 5 raccoons in this one dumpster, and I picked it up and I saw them. So like I didn't bring it up anymore, and there was this one he could kept jumping, couldn't get out. So I hit the can like toward the truck, and so it climbed onto the windshield of the truck and was holding onto the bars and like then was able to get out. It was the cutest thing ever.
Right.
Now
Yeah.
Sean would be like, "Screw you, family, get out of there!" Nah.
Yeah, I'd have just took it. Like,
Yeah, that's
nah,
pretty. And
like I
No
try to help them.
compassion. No
If
compassion.
they get in there, I try to help them out.
listen, I'm definitely
They're
like
Nah,
a
just
Sean,
country girl.
don't lie. You got no compassion for them animals.
That's the city in him. He won't have no compassion. See, I am not city at all. I grew up in the country,
Mm-hmm.
and like I was the only girl, so I had older brothers, which is probably why I'm like so like tomboy. But I love animals. So, and raccoons, they're
right.
cute as hell. They're cute as hell. Now, if it was a possum, I'd be like, all right, get the hell out.
Yeah,
Like I'd shake it.
it's definitely like there's definitely a lot of raccoons in the cans. It definitely
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Like at least every couple of cans, I'll get a raccoon that'll jump out
Really?
at me. And it's scary if they get up there in your camera because all you see is hands. All you see is the hands come up and try to grab the back of the truck. So it kind of
Yeah,
looks like human hands because it's in the camera.
yeah.
So it's like, oh my god, this guy's gonna climb up out of this
That would
pack.
actually be cool as shit watching somebody just like something from a horror movie, like a hand
That's
grab.
why. Right.
we've had this discussion before.
That's why I'm glad, I'm on a country route. I don't got to worry about that. I'm a residential driver. Just pick up the toter. I ain't got to worry about no hobos popping out of them or anything. Just animals, you know what I mean? Come on, that's fine. The only time I get scared is it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing a pole across first thing in the morning, and I'm out there, and all of a sudden I hear something run up behind me, and I'm like, "Holy crap!" Jump back in the truck. It's just somebody's dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh, screw you,
Right?
little dog. You can scare the crap out of me, man.
yeah.
Hey, on some
We
of those country
like that
routes,
one
though,
white
those
dog out
dogs
there
are
on
dangerous.
that one route. Remember that one white dog?
Oh yeah,
Right.
the one I
Oh,
sent
some
you
of
a
them are, yeah.
picture of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had
he's
a white
bored.
dog that they used to chase our truck. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Oh no,
I had.
we had on like a long time ago that used to chase our truck.
Oh really? No, I had this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was a husky on one of the farms that from when I was on the trash route. This dog, it was a female. As soon as I pull in the driveway, he would chase the truck and then go exactly like this was a long drive to get to the barns where the can was, and run alongside the truck and then cut around to where the dumpster was because she knew exactly where I was going. And I'd come around and I'd get there, and the whole time I was there, she would just sit there at the cab window and just look up at me. Now she was adorable, but I didn't know like is she safe? Is she not safe? So like I never got out of the truck
Yes, she
to
would.
pet her or
Yeah.
anything like that. I was gonna actually bring her treats, but then I got into my accident and lost that route, so I never got to see her again. But she was adorable. She was
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah,
Yeah.
it sucks. Damn.
I think the
So
scariest
are
in
you liking
what?
are you liking doing are you like do you like doing trash? Do you like doing your job? I mean recycling, or do you like doing your job?
I actually I love my job. I love my coworkers. I love doing what I do. I'm actually I'm proud of what I do. Like I know it sounds weird to be like, oh, I love the trash business.
That's
But
great.
at the same time, like, I'm proud of what I do. I mean, I find what I do to be something that not everybody can do. And I try to do my job and do it the right way. I don't try to be sloppy about it. I clean up a mess if I make it. the best I can, and I try to make my customers happy. Like
Right.
I don't try to give them shit service. So
Mhm.
yeah, I enjoy my job. I mean, there's shit
It's
days where I
definitely
just
good.
want. There's definitely shit days I want to look at my employer and tell him to kick rocks, but not every day is a bad day. So you know,
Right, but you need that money though, you know.
right,
That happens
exactly.
to
That's
everybody
not
though.
for me.
Every job you do, you'll run into that.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I think the best part about the job, honestly, though, I think the best part about this job, though, I mean, among all the other jobs I've worked ever, is the amount of freedom we got. I mean, what other kind of person's gonna hire somebody, give them a $300,000 truck, and say, "Well, here's the keys, have fun, don't wreck," you know,
Right.
Right.
and trust you all day long to drive that thing around and not get in any accidents or anything. And you know, I don't get bothered a lot by anyone in dispatch or anything, always talking about stops because you know you make sure you do good service. You ain't got to have enough, you know, crap. But if you start skipping stops and start making your own messes, you know, that causes your own problems. So then people
Yep.
get mad about it. But my biggest
Definitely.
thing is I just love the freedom. I mean, like I
Yes.
used to, you know, be a manager all the time. Always have to worry about sales, have to worry about this, have to worry about that. No, I don't got to worry about none of that now. I just got to go out there, pick up my normal stops, you know, make sure everything's getting picked up nicely. And I'm at the end of the day, I'm going home. You know what I mean? Like
That's
it's
really
Exactly.
so
good.
super simple. I could blast out to some freaking heavy metal. I can listen to an audio book, or I could just listen to the quiet country as I'm zooming by,
Right.
Yeah. It's I
flapping in the
enjoy it.
wind.
I enjoy it like I've listened to things that I missed on so like if I missed like for instance we had a presidential debate. I wanted to watch the presidential debate, but it was late at night, so I'm not gonna stay up. But I watched it
Hmm.
on YouTube. I'm not actually watching it, but I'm listening to it so that way, you know, and
Yeah, you
then
listen to it.
I listen to the audiobooks and music and I just kind of jam out and it's
Hmm.
enjoyable. The difference is like before for me, I had like an hour of paperwork every day at the end of my shift. I was responsible for other people's lives. I passed medications. I had to do a med book and a med count, and
Yep.
it was a lot of responsibility. And not that responsibility is
Right.
a hard thing. It's not, but it's nice to just have that freedom. And like as stressful as this job can be, it could be 1,000 times worse in my other career. Like you could get
Oh
fired,
yeah.
a pill goes missing, and it's a narcotic, and you can get fired if
Right.
you accidentally do a restraint the wrong way, or if a kid made an allegation against you, even if it was not true. Like it could actually affect you and affect your home life
Yep.
and it could affect the rest of your career. Like if a kid made an allegation, something happened, and they said, okay, it's founded, well, now you have a founded CPS kind of case kind of thing on you, and you're not getting another job
Yep.
in that field no
Yeah.
more. There goes your career that you've been in for 20 years and have spent all this college money on. Like, yeah, I mean, you don't have to worry about nothing like that. You just have to make sure you're paying attention that people aren't doing craziness around you. But I mean, I'd still rather be responsible with my truck than be responsible for human beings who are unpredictable. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Right. Definitely. It's definitely more calmer. Like before I was a network admin. I made more money at this other job, but this job is just more relaxing. I ain't got to deal with computers all the time or, deal with stuff like that.
Relaxing.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
Sean. You always sound pretty pent up when whenever I hear from you at the end of the day, you're always like, man, this freaking shit, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You're kind of like angry little man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, keyword little.
Little. listen, listen here, Trash Viking.
Yeah. Well, I ain't no trash daddy, that's for sure.
See, when I see
I
Sean
don't
at
know.
the end of the
I have a
day,
lot of good.
he's not grumpy with me
Yeah. Well,
compared to being a
that's because
female.
that's city shown. That's city shown. You know what I mean? He's got to
Right.
walk the walk, talk the talk. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, you're the host. We get to pick on you for free. It's kind of the name of the
Yeah.
That's all the time we had there today with Jessica. She had to step away to do care of some more business.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you've seen. All
Yeah.
right, guys. Peace.
Peace.